Welcome into Bengals Breakdown. I am your host, Jack Sperry, filling in for Tom Downey. Wanted to make sure you guys got your news and rumors for the Cincinnati Bengals today. And on today's show, I'm going to be breaking down a trade rumor that Bleacher Report came out with, a trade scenario that sends Chase Young to the city of Cincinnati. Going to be breaking down that here in just 1 second. But first, make sure you go ahead, do me a favor here, click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you always know when we put out our free videos here on YouTube. We have comprehensive Bengals coverage for you guys all off-season long. So if you want to stay up to date with wall-to-wall coverage on the Bengals off-season program, click that subscribe button for me right now. So now the Bleacher Report came out with this trade scenario that ends up sending away a fan favorite here, Logan Wilson, linebacker, to the Washington Commanders in exchange for Washington Commanders edge rusher Chase Young. This is the official Bleacher Report trade idea, which of course sends the former number 2 overall pick to the city of Cincinnati. And then Logan Wilson and a 2024 fourth-round pick will be on their way to the nation's capital. So let's break this down a little bit here. Logan Wilson, somebody that is going to be a free agent coming up here in 2024, somebody that has been a really, really good player for the Cincinnati Bengals over the last 2 years. He's really good in pass coverage. He's a very well-rounded inside off-ball linebacker for the Bengals. And with Burrow's contract coming up here soon and Chase's contract coming up here soon, it makes sense that potentially the Bengals don't want to spend a whole bunch of money paying inside linebacker a big contract. So it definitely makes sense that they might want to get him out of the building here for something before he leaves for nothing. But let me know what you guys think about this trade idea in the comments section. Would you make this trade? Chase Young goes to the Cincinnati Bengals, and then Logan Wilson and a fourth-round pick go to the Washington Commanders. Type a yes or a no in the comments section. This is going to be a pinned comment on today's show. So whenever you get an ad break here, YouTube's going to throw you an ad break. Take advantage of that time by answering today's question with a yes or a no. So let's talk about Chase Young here for a second. Is it worth it for the Cincinnati Bengals to go out and get this guy? Because there's definitely some risk involved with trading for Chase Young. So he was the second overall pick by the Washington football team back in 2020. Also won Defensive Rookie of the Year in that year. And then the next year, he kind of got off to a slow start, and then he tore his ACL back in November of 2021. And then, of course, this last offseason, kind of in a shocking move, the Commanders declined Young's fifth-year option, which now means he's going to be a free agent for the 2024 offseason. And it's definitely an indication that Washington might be a little bit worried about that knee and the health of Chase Young moving forward. But the upside is definitely there, as evidenced by his numbers during the 2022 or during the 2020 NFL season with the Washington football team at the time. 4 forced fumbles, 7.5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss, 44 tackles total. This guy was just seen as a freak of nature coming out of Ohio State back in 2020. He's got the size, he's got the length, he's got the prototypical everything that you look for in an NFL edge rusher. He'd be a perfect fit in a 4-3 defense like the Cincinnati Bengals like to run. So although it's a bit risky to go out and get a guy like Chase Young, if Young blossoms here in Cincinnati and becomes that player that we all thought he was going to be back in 2020, this Bengals pass rush is going to be absolutely dirty. Let's take a look at the Bengals defensive end depth chart here. If you put Chase Young next to guys like Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard, Myles Murphy, who you hope can be a nice developmental piece for you in the future, this is going to be one of, if not the best pass rushing units in the National Football League. So would I make this trade for Chase Young, the former number 2 overall pick? I'm going to be letting you know here in just a second. But first, make sure to like today's video for a free and easy way to help us out here at the Bengals Breakdown. It tells the YouTube algorithm to push this video out to as many Bengals fans as possible and that you're enjoying the content here on the channel. Really do appreciate all the support from all of you out there. All right, so now I wouldn't make this trade personally. I like Chase Young. I like the upside, all these different things. And if the Bengals needed another edge rusher, I might have pulled the trigger here. But there's a couple reasons why I wouldn't take this trade. Number one, the Bengals don't really need another edge rusher, okay? Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson, that's a pretty darn good duo right now. And then you've got your rotational guy in Myles Murphy that I really like. I really like that trio. I don't think you need to add another guy to that. And then I don't want to part ways with Logan Wilson because I think he's one of the best inside linebackers, off-ball linebackers, whatever you want to call it, in the National Football League. He's one of the more underrated players in the entire league, and I don't want to part ways with that right now because you take a look at the depth chart for the linebacker room right now. Jermaine Pratt, you brought him back in NFL free agency. That's nice. You got Akeem Davis-Gaither. But, if you take Logan Wilson off of this roster, it's like, who's going to fill that third linebacker spot? I really don't know at this point. I don't think you're going to be adding somebody in free agency like a Kawan Alexander or a Rashaan Evans. This isn't a move I'm really willing to make because, like I say, I really like Logan Wilson's game. 123 tackles last season in 15 games played, 3 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, and a PFF grade of 72.7, which was one of the highest in the National Football League last year for an inside linebacker. Really think that he is a good player, and if the Bengals can figure it out financially, as long as Logan isn't asking for an enormous amount of money here, I would absolutely look into giving him an extension. And I'd rather get an extension done here than have something happen where we're trading him away and all these different things, and you have to find another linebacker. That's not something I want to do, particularly for a player in Chase Young that you don't really need. He's a big-time risk. He might not work out. He's got knee issues, and I really think that Logan Wilson's value in this defense just can't be replaced with the way he can go back into coverage, with the way he can get after quarterbacks on the blitz at times. He can do it all in the middle of your defense. He is an absolute a freak in the middle of this defense. He's just something that you can't take out of this defense, in my opinion. You have to have him on the field in 2023 if you want to make that run for the Lombardi Trophy. So should the Bengals extend Logan Wilson this offseason? Let me know in the comment section by typing E if you would give him that extension, or type P if you would pass on him. Really do appreciate everybody that gets those comments down in the comment section. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to have you guys covered with OTA coverage throughout the offseason program here for the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to be covering who's doing well, who's not doing so well. So if you want to stay up to date on everything that the Cincinnati Bengals are doing this offseason, make sure you're clicking that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you always know when we put out new videos here on the platform.